Now, you may think the Ultimate Universe, the super hot Marvel line, is ending because sales dipped or the books finally got boring. Well, on those last 2 points, you're probably right. But Marvel didn't cancel the Ultimate line, they executed it exactly on schedule, and they did it to nuke the mainline 616 universe. Let's talk about it. Well, if you hadn't heard by now, the Ultimate Universe at Marvel Comics is coming to an end in 2026. So we've scoured the internet, we've collected all the data sources, and we've put it all together, and we've got the confirmation. We've confirmed the entire line's closure is happening in April 2026. But it was a contractually obligated creative plan, a story-first choice, as Marvel editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski confirmed to retailers at the New York City Comic-Con event, which is happening right now. It was a guaranteed finite story. It wasn't meant to be ongoing forever. But here's the wildest part you probably wouldn't believe, and the reason you need to stick around. The main villain, the Maker, has been inside a time bubble preparing for his final fight for not 2 years in real time, which is what we all experienced, but thousands of years. Marvel didn't build a universe, they built a narrative weapon. Let's break apart the plan a little bit. When Marvel announced the relaunch in 2023, every veteran comic reader had the same skeptical voice in their head, as did I, which is, here we go again. They remembered Earth 1610, the original Ultimate Universe. That line launched in 2000 and was a creative success for a decade, but it eventually suffered from every editorial sin: creative dilution, endless narrative escalation, and it finally collapsed under the weight of franchise fatigue. It wasn't ended for good until the cataclysmic Secret Wars event in 2015. It dragged on, lost its purpose, and ultimately became a cautionary tale of how you don't continue a parallel timeline. That history is exactly what makes the Earth 6160 conclusion so strategically brilliant, in a sense, if you want to use that word. The current project, led by Jonathan Hickman, was an explicit rejection of this same trajectory. They wanted to not repeat history. They went public with a radical promise. This universe has an expiration date. It was never meant to be extended indefinitely. The plan mandated a focused 3-act structure: Invasion, Reign, and Endgame, to run for approximately 2 years, perfectly mirroring the in-universe timeline from June 2023 to April 2026. This is an editorial decision that's based on discipline in a way we rarely see from Marvel. The financial angle confirms this was not a panic move. Sources like Popverse and Bleeding Cool confirmed that the current Ultimate line, featuring titles like Ultimate Spider-Man, is a commercial and critical success. Now, you may quibble with those numbers, and I certainly sort of feel that those numbers could have been stronger if they were handled better, but they're certainly the strongest titles at Marvel right now. They're actively shutting down one of the best-selling lines because that was the plan from the beginning. This guarantees that the line wraps while its quality is still relatively high. The goal is to maximize long-term revenue by creating a self-contained, high-quality classic, easily marketable in collected editions for the next decade, positioning it as a collector's staple. Alright, so let's dig into the plan a little bit from what we've been able to tell so far. The strategic rationale of the finite plan centers entirely on that contractual 2-year span. Hickman's commitment forced every subsequent creative team to write with a ticking clock, creating real-time narrative pressure that drives reader urgency. Every book knew its final destination. Now, arguably, and I'll say this personally, most of the titles did not handle that ticking clock well. So it's a matter of your mileage may vary, but yeah, that was a plan from the beginning. If you're a collector, this is your final checklist based on Marvel solicitations. Ultimate Spider-Man wraps in December 2025. Ultimate Black Panther ends in January 2026. Ultimate X-Men finishes in February of 2026. And the event itself, Ultimate Endgame number 5, hits in April of 2026, a complete editorial shutdown. Now I'm going to pause you for a second. Before we get too much further into the details of the plan, I need to ask you a very simple question. This mandatory conclusion is strictly business. It was always the plan from the beginning. But is it good storytelling, which should be the primary focus of what everything Marvel does? Is this kind of disciplined, pre-planned ending the future of successful comic book runs for Marvel and maybe even DC? Or does it kill the spontaneous fun of the serialized format? Is the creative process better when the creator knows the end date? Leave a comment down below and give me your opinion about this topic. Let's pivot to the darker core of the finale just so we get a better idea of what's going to happen exactly. The 5-issue event, known as Ultimate Endgame, starts in December 31st, 2025, exactly 2 years after the Ultimate Heroes imprisoned their terrifying architect, the Maker. The assumption was that he was just stewing in his prison for 2 years. But the crucial strategic fact is this: the Maker was sealed within what we call the City, a time-accelerated fortress in Latveria. Industry reports based on final solicitations confirm that while only 2 standard years passed outside the bubble, the Maker has enjoyed a temporal advantage of thousands of years inside his bubble to plan, research, and prepare his final confrontation with the assembled Ultimate Heroes. The massive difference? A 2-year-old resistance versus a multi-millennia-old super genius. That's the big hook of Endgame. His goal isn't just to conquer Earth 6160. The gathered information we'll be able to tease out confirms his plan is to rewrite or destroy the reality he views as fundamentally flawed, leading to a multiversal collision, which is where the plan gets truly surgical for the 616 continuity. Now, does that mean that Marvel is doing what we've asked for a very long time? The often requested reboot? Are they rebooting everything? Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it sounds like they're getting pretty darn close. Well, if you're going to do a big event, you need to have some kind of catalyst, some spark that makes it all happen. The destruction of one universe is just the setup for the major upheaval of the other. The deliberate, planned, multiversal intervention is facilitated by something called the origin boxes. If you haven't been reading, these are the mysterious devices used by Iron Lad to grant the new Ultimate Heroes their power sets after the Maker intercepted them through the timeline. They contain the catalysts the Maker collected to prevent heroic origins. Open a box and a familiar power set, Spider-Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four, is unleashed. The genius of the plan is that these boxes serve as the perfect multiversal transfer mechanism. And here's the fact that should shock every mainline reader. The contamination is being orchestrated accidentally by Miles Morales, the popular Spider-Man of Earth 616. He is the agent of chaos in this story. Our findings confirm that during the Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion Limited Series, the 616 Miles travels to Earth 6160. There, Iron Lad entrusts Miles with a handful of origin boxes before Miles returns to his home reality. The pivotal moment of cross-dimensional change happens when Miles arrives back on Earth 616 and scatters these origin boxes across the continuity. Miles Morales is the one who infects his own universe with the dangerous, explosive DNA of the Dying One. This is the foundation of the promised soft reboot. It's not a Secret Wars-level structural reset, it's a systemic, unpredictable jolt across all the books. Bleeding Cool reported that the integration would lead to a period where chaos will reign throughout the mainline Marvel Universe in 2026. That chaos comes in 2 essential forms. According to our reports, first, the rise of new legacy characters. Ordinary individuals stumble upon an origin box and acquire the powers of a classic hero. A new Captain America, a new Hulk, or a whole new Fantastic Four without the decades of baggage. This is an interesting creative tool, potentially. It allows Marvel to introduce fresh, younger, or diverse takes on classic archetypes without having to execute a complex, continuity-destroying retcon of the established 616 heroes. The old heroes stay, but the universe is flooded with the new. Second, and far more terrifying, the boxes can unleash deadly power sets onto unsuspecting, perhaps malicious individuals, creating potent new villains. The sheer volume and random deployment of these power sources will lead to widespread instability. Our analysis confirms existing 616 heroes like the current Avengers and X-Men will be forced to deal with a new generation of empowered individuals who don't follow established rules or lineages. In Miles Morales' Spider-Man, that's where we're expected to see one of the first mainline books to explore these initial impacts. In effect, it feels like a reboot, but it also again feels like the all-new, all-different era of Marvel mixed together. Will it work? We shall see. From an industry standpoint, this is a very strong approach to a business strategy. The contamination and the rise of these new legacy characters allow Marvel to generate a huge wave of high-profile #1 issues in 2026. A new Origin box-powered Hulk? Sure. That could be a guaranteed #1 launch that's going to do well, at least to start. This entire strategy is designed to revitalize the creative direction of the flagship 616 titles and generate immediate, massive commercial spikes. Think of it, the end of one successful imprint funds the revitalization of the entire publishing line. That's the calculated risk Marvel was taking when they came up with this plan in the first place. By strictly adhering to the 2-year plan, Marvel sets a new standard. It says, successful comic book imprints can have a clearly defined beginning, middle, and end, making the complete saga highly accessible to readers. Now, you could argue manga's been doing this for decades. It's nothing new, and so maybe this is Marvel's attempt to learn from the success of others. This creative discipline ensures that the trade paperback collections of the Earth 6160 saga are projected to maintain exceptional long-term sales due to their self-contained, high-quality nature. Again, you can argue with the high-quality part, but that's a matter of taste and preference. It's a guaranteed classic on the shelf, not a half-finished story that they try to tease out of the ongoing narrative. Now, for the inevitable speculation, industry analysts are debating whether this strategy is intended to align with future Marvel Studios multimedia developments. The logic is sound. The Ultimate characters offer clear, modern, and legally streamlined versions of classic heroes. By injecting these modernized power sets and new legacy characters into the 616 line, Marvel creates an instantly adaptable sandbox for future film or television projects. Instead of mining the past, Marvel Comics, working in concert with the MCU and Marvel Studios, is forging a new but familiar future. This enriches their overall multiversal framework for corporate synergy. Even if Marvel publicly denies any direct comic-to-screen synchronization, you can bet that there's some conversations happening behind the scenes. They're future-proofing the story for every medium, which is what Marvel Studios wants. The final word on the Ultimate Universe brand itself? While Marvel is adamant that this Earth 6160 is over, the brand is just too powerful to kill off forever. More than likely, it's going to come back in some other form. Nerdist and other outlets confirm it's almost universally expected that the Ultimate concept will be relaunched by a new creative team at some point. When? We don't know. The success of the current line proves the hunger for modernized, accessible takes on the core Marvel roster is still there. Now, whether or not that results in sales has yet to be determined. The 2026 conclusion is likely a planned creative pause, ensuring the next Ultimate project, whenever it surfaces, is treated as an equally significant event. So let's summarize this meticulously planned corporate and creative execution. The Ultimate Universe is ending because it was designed to, not because of failure. This entire line was a 2-year fuse built by Jonathan Hickman and the editorial team and others to achieve maximum creative integrity. The maker spent thousands of years preparing, not just 2, and Miles Morales is the unwitting agent scattering the origin boxes across Earth 616. The result will be a Chaos Will Reign soft reboot for the entire Marvel Universe starting in 2026. Now, hopefully this is giving you all the information you need to be educated about what's going on with the Ultimate Universe and its ending. And if you appreciate this kind of deep dive into the strategic, business, and creative workings of the comic industry, the why behind the what, then you know what you need to do. The best way to ensure this channel keeps delivering this kind of essential pre-release intelligence is to hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, just click it. It takes 2 seconds and it tells the algorithm that you want more critical breakdowns of the industry. Don't miss the next one. Now, go read comics, but read wisely. I'll see you next time for more comical opinions.